Hi, Mark. How hungover are you right now?
Considering it was Chicago St. Patty's Day yesterday, I'm really not that hungover. It's probably because this was one of the few times that I haven't started drinking at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, which is the typical.
But you were still in bed by 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's just more so the time change and the dad thing. Daylight savings time. We're moving forward an hour, and I couldn't be in bed that long. I had to watch Nolan this morning.
I will run for president on the platform that I will abolish daylight savings
Daylight,
time, and I'm
daylight
pretty
saving.
sure I'll fucking win. Nobody
Do you
likes
just
it.
I I disagree with that. I think people usually prefer when, well, that's dependent too. I was gonna say people usually prefer when the time goes back an hour.
Only because you get that extra day or
Yeah,
extra hour to sleep. But for all the times in the middle of winter when you look outside at 5:15 and it's pitch black and all you see is the reflection of snow, yeah,
hmm
I am suicidal when that happens. That's horrible.
So you would prefer it getting pitch black at 5:40 instead of 4:40 because we moved the clocks back,
That
right?
5 o'clock is a really important threshold for a lot of people, Mark.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
so yeah, I would much rather it stay light out later, and now we're gonna have that, and I'll find something to bitch about there because I'll have to do more yard work now or something, or my kid won't sleep right.
Yeah.
But that's
Well, the
that's an
kids
apt
don't.
yeah
It,
introduction to episode 286 of the Chumpcast. So welcome everybody. Thanks. I see Joe put down his Drive to Survive to come watch this. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit.
oh, nice.
So you had St. Patty's Day plans. Anything special or anything memorable? Did you go downtown?
Honestly, there was just some people I haven't seen in a while, and I completely forgot that I had these. I didn't forget I had these plans. I forgot that this was the weekend of St. Patty's Day because I typically St. Patty's Day is celebrated next weekend, and I completely forgot Chicago does it the week before, and it kind of sucked because it lined up with our last session of D&D.
Wait, who's our?
Shut up, dude.
You were not invited, motherfucker. You were out.
I,
We played
I,
without you. We didn't even mention you once.
that's brutal.
We
That's
we
brutal.
uh we finished our 2 year long. Shout out to Joe, our DM at Leverpull. Uh, he culminated our 2 year descent into Avernus campaign with an epic build and just I mean it was a great night. We did everything we set out to do, and I missed the Tuesday night streams, I'll be honest, but it was really good to
hmm
get together and roll some dice. Joe and Elise got a sick gaming table with like plugins, and it was huge, and it was a blast.
We should make an Instagram post with that photo you sent me because the setup Joe had was out of this world.
It's a better
I had
idea to ask Joe to take some pictures and send them to you because I was just
yeah, I
like looking around my laptop, like drinking a beer, snapping
hmm
pics. I'm sure he took some good pictures, but he
yeah.
said he spent hours building that, and I completely believe it. But it was
No, it looked like it.
we actually got to use the giant Tiamat figure, even though her wing popped off at one point. It didn't matter, but it was a really damn good time, and I missed playing D&D, so it was good to roll some dice.
So for our listeners, the final boss, I'll call it, was Zariel, right?
Hmm.
You defeated Zariel, I assume. Did
Correct.
anything crazy happen?
Uh, you're given the option to redeem Zariel, and we're a bunch
Um,
of murder hobos, so we didn't want to do that. We just wanted to kill everything. I remember
was there?
like we were closing in on our final session probably a couple months ago at this point, and I was like, "Do you guys want to talk about like maybe we redeem her?" And everybody just immediately booed me. Like, no, we're gonna fucking murder this. So yeah, that's the kind of party we are.
Was there a murder chant last night? That's what I
Yes,
really want to know.
several.
Good.
It's a lot harder to do over Zoom because the timing is off. But when you're in person, it's really easy to get a good chant going.
Was everyone just banging the table and Joe was freaking out because he
You do
thought the
not
building
bang
was
the
just going to
table.
collapse?
No.
Yeah, tell me about the table because Joe got that nice custom table, didn't he?
Yeah, it's got his logo wood burned into it. It's super cool. Very well
That's
done.
sick.
Plenty of power outlets, which is huge when you're at a gaming table for shit. That was like a 6 hour session for us last night. So yeah, that was important, and we put it to good use.
Yeah. Are there USB inputs?
Hmm.
Does each like seat have a USB port?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's fucking sick.
I knew that
I
would
see
make you
those
so
online all the
horny.
time. So
You
horny.
love this shit that you would use like twice, and you'd be like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you got it though.
Does it have LED strips underneath that are RGB and can change and just fade into different colors?
But does it pulse to the music?
Yeah, right. It's got to pulse to the music.
You fucking dork.
That's sick.
What else happened this week? You know what? I wanted to ask you about this because there's a lot of shit going on in the NFL and sports right now. First of all, we're going to get baseball. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The story that I think is going to get absolutely buried so quick, but is endlessly fascinating to me, is that Calvin Ridley got suspended for a full year from the NFL for betting on games. And the number of dudes who like get DUIs and shit or like domestic abuse, and they get like 2 games. Can you so imagine you're entering into these multi-billion-dollar multi-year deals with these casinos and these gambling fronts, and all of a sudden it comes out that a player is gambling on the games, and the panic that came out of that from the NFL is huge. But this kind of was a backhanded way for me to get into asking you about your gambling lately. I know that you are blindly betting on anything. Is that an accurate way to put it?
Kind of, not really though. I take a lot of tips from one of my buddies who's in like a giant Discord it's basically a Discord where it looks like all the channels the comments are pretty much turned off because there are thousands of people in these Discords, and it's literally one guy that runs it that everyone follows because of his bets. And he turns off the comments. Nobody can say anything. They just like emoji when he places like what bet he's going to run. It's fucking kind of weird, but
that's extremely weird and very. That feels very uncouth. Is the advice any good?
It's hit or miss. I was talking to
so this
another
is
friend
just
the other
some
day.
Fucking 12-year-old in his grandma's basement who has amassed a following of hundreds of thousands of idiots, probably.
Yeah,
who are just like, this guy's a sharp.
It's
that's incredible.
It's sports betting. When it comes down to it, it's like this guy maybe is 5% better than like the typical, 50%, 60% bet. Like he obviously has insight and has done well betting, but at the same time, he loses too. And
everybody does. That's the point of gambling.
Yeah.
All you need is that one big one to keep you hooked forever. But I mean, you got to win what 52% of your bets to break even. So if you're better than that, you're making money. Yeah, I guess it just depends on how much money you're willing to gamble.
Yeah. I've stopped, or I've tried to stop. I'm to the point where I have money in there that's just play money. I've broken even because it's been a long up and down season for me where I told myself, I'm like, once I can break even, I'm going to take that money out, and then whatever I have left over, I'm just going to use that for play money. And that's the point I'm at. I don't plan on depositing anymore yet, but we'll see when football hits again.
You heard it here first, folks. Money is not an object to Mark. He has plenty of it. He uses all of it to gamble on games that he doesn't watch. we were going to go see Batman 2 weeks ago. And you walk in, and you're like, "Where's the Appalachian State game?" And I'm like, "What? What? You don't even talk about college. You don't give a fuck about college basketball. Is all of your money in that account going to be gone after next week?"
I'm down to it might be. It might not be though. Who knows?
Okay, well that's a good way to look at it. I think that's enough for us to get into our trailer talk this week.
Let's do it.
News to us. Boop.
Mark, you are the resident Star Wars expert on this show.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You were just lamenting the fact that every one of these shows takes place on Tatooine, mostly in Mos Eisley, which is a valid point, actually, now that you mention it. I guess you just kind of recycle those sets. But, yeah, we're talking about Obi-Wan here, and he's back to be super handsome Obi. The nostalgic music returns from the original prequels. What are you expecting out of this?
So first, I have a question for you. In the trailer, I could be way off with the timeline because I'm just, I'm the resident Star Wars guy. But was that Anakin sitting there as a kid?
No.
It couldn't be, right?
No, it's probably Luke, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
this conversation, the chat is literally lamenting us right now. Like
that
they're going to
was-
try and
that
talk
was a
about Star
joke.
Wars.
That was a joke. Joe's fucking head is just blowing up right now listening to this right now.
How about we talk about some things that we do actually know? You do see who will be the big bad probably for this. I don't know. Maybe they can bring somebody else in. But the Grand Inquisitor is going to be your villain here. I
The
think
guy that looked like he was in Slipknot. Looked like he was in like
that's
a
so many different Star Wars characters. All of them just like have shit hanging off of their face. Yeah. This is going to be the segment where we lose all of our fans. Something about this had to have gotten your attention, Mark.
Yeah, the Slipknot villain guy at the end.
Great. So the premise for this is that Order 66 has been carried out. So a lot of the Jedi have been killed, and basically the Inquisitor is going around and hunting the remaining Jedi everywhere. I'm in for this. If it gets a little bit darker, that would be great. A little bit more murdery. They didn't really hesitate to do that with Boba or Mandalorian. It doesn't get gory necessarily, but they do kill people. So I was very reassured by the fact that they were willing to bring on Cad Bane from the Clone Wars, who I think is a great character, into the Book of Boba Fett. And I think that they'll continue to do that to kind of fan servicey, get people interested, but that's fine. And everybody's been waiting for Ewan McGregor to come back as Obi-Wan for 22 years now, 23, or however long it's been since the last one came out. So yeah, there was a giant collective nerdgasm on the internet.
The guy you were just mentioning, that's the Slipknot Bane, skinny Bane looking guy, right? He has like the tubes that go into his mouth and shit.
He has white face paint on. I don't know what to say.
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
You're just trying to rile up the people at this point.
I just hope this was better than Boba Fett. It was getting better, and then it just continued to be boring.
It was weird because the ending was such a spectacle to that show, but it was so forgettable by the end of it that I was just like, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense. But I mean, keep making it. I'll keep watching it. So that's all they really give a shit about. Mark, you are obsessed with talking about this dumb Super Pets movie, so I'm just going to cede the floor to you.
Keanu Reeves voicing Batman.
He's not the focus of this movie.
He might be.
No, we know that it's literally called Super Pets, right?
He'll be in it a lot, though. It's Keanu Reeves.
DC League of Okay.
But we have The Rock as Superman's dog.
Crypto. So you're telling me that you're sold on this based on the cast alone?
Why wouldn't I be?
Your argument to me was that Keanu Reeves is in this, and the implication there is that Keanu Reeves has never done a good or a bad movie, which he just did a fourth Matrix movie that was universally hated.
We're talking animation though here. Last animated film was what, Toy Story 4?
I think that was his only animated film, wasn't it?
He was amazing in it. You're just mad because Keanu Reeves is voicing in a Batman related film.
Why would I be mad about that? I don't give a shit.
If it was Spider-Ham, you'd be like, oh my God, Keanu Reeves is in this and he's voicing Spider-Ham. You'd be way more pumped for that.
I'm mad because I knew that you were going to come at me with some fucking attitude today. And that was the first thing you did when you sent me this trailer, is you came at me with fucking attitude. Like we haven't already talked about this goddamn movie. Like we haven't already seen a trailer for it, which we have both. This doesn't look that great. You're just riding this high from the Batman being mediocre.
This is how that conversation went. The one I gave you attitude. Add this to your trailers. You said, don't fucking tell me what to do. And then I said, you're constantly fucking up. And you said, because I don't want to talk about this dumbass movie. You were being way more aggressive when I sent that to you.
There's a lot more context before that, too.
Shut up. No.
I think everybody knows who the real asshole here is, you.
All right. Well, I'm excited for it. Yes, because of the voice cast. We have Kevin Hart, we have The Rock, and we have Keanu Reeves. That's all I really need to say at this moment. I think it's going to be a nice little lighthearted film where you can take your kids. Much prefer people take their kids to this kind of movie than the last Batman movie we just got.
God, that was infuriating watching people take their kids in there. And it's just because they want to see the movie themselves. It's not like the kids like, Batman. No. Yeah, you're right, though. This is this is destined to be Nolan's favorite movie, whether he likes it or not, because he's going to see it 1 billion times.
I'm still drunk, by the way, Elise. You caught me.
Let's go to the next trailer, which is called Metal Lords. So this is a Netflix film that maybe has some potential. 2 high school kids that are dorks trying to start a metal band, but they need a bassist, and they find a girl who plays a cello and calls everybody the C word. Coming April 8th to Netflix. Anything about this jump out at you, or should we just move on?
Jaden Martell, the kid from It, right? He's one of the main kids.
One of the kids. I don't know. There's like 6 kid actors, and there's 7 now because we added one more. But
I think the thing that jumps out to me was I believe he was credited as one of the creators or producers on this was Murillo, who
Tom Morello
is known. Yeah, he's the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine. Speaking of D&D, he's been cited playing a lot of D&D with Joe Manganiello. I don't know if they still do that, but he was in their group with like Vince Vaughn. Like
that would
years
be the
ago,
wildest fucking table to sit down at.
It'd be insane. But I think that's pretty cool having him, on this movie. And I was growing up, I was really into like the School of Rock kind of stuff. When I saw that movie with Jack Black, I came out of there, and that made me want to like start a band and play guitar and shit like that. So I'm hoping this kind of has vibes like that, where there are really good battle of the band type songs and scenes. But we'll see.
It's very hard to capture the teenage angst and not have it be cringy. So we'll see. You know what? Netflix has been on a little bit of a heater with their original stuff lately, so we'll see. And finally, we get a very Red Band trailer for The Boys Season 3. Did you go back and try to watch Diabolical?
I did. I'm on episode 4 right now. It's pretty good. Very
it falls
gory.
Off very fast.
Does it?
The poop episode was like, I was like, all right, this is a bit much. But anyways, back to The Boys, which is why we're talking about this in the first place. We get a lot more murder, and I'm pretty sure that someone explodes out of someone else. Mm-hmm. And that's just basically, they're just taking memes from Twitter now, where it was the Ant-Man and Thanos argument. Like he could easily just go kill him that way by jumping up his butthole and then getting bigger.
Did we see in season 2 Butcher taking why am I blanking? Compound V, right? Isn't that the compound?
This I believe will be the first, but if I'm remembering the comics correctly, they have it from the beginning. But it's kind of nice. I like that they include that in the storytelling because it kind of shows the hypocrisy of Billy Butcher and the lengths to which he is willing to go to do the absolute, apotheosis of the opposite of what he claims to stand for. So I like that as character development, and it could give us some really interesting shit. So,
have you done any research on Diabolical? Well, whether anything that happens in any of those shorts will flow into the live action?
No, series? And I don't care enough to.
Yeah,
I mean, like, is there something that you want to carry over?
No, well, not so far. And I'm assuming by the review you just gave, I'm not going to get to that point as I go through the rest of the season.
I liked some. The Pusher episode was really good.
Yeah, I think they would have just had people care about that show more if there were some things that may be tied into the live action.
That's really hard to do, though, because you're talking about different production crews, different writers.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. It's not like the Marvel Universe.
That's what I was going to, cite there.
Okay.
I'm pumped
so that's,
for this,
this is coming June, I want to say, but Amazon Prime. So let's talk a couple news bits. I'll save this one for last, but Brad Pitt's got a production company called B Entertainment, which is really just a dumb and uninspired name. They're trying to make a sequel to Beetlejuice with Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder returning. So, Mark, I guess the requisite question for this is, have you seen Beetlejuice?
I have.
Okay. It is a staple of my childhood movie viewing. I absolutely loved that movie. I still do, and it's the reason why I think Michael Keaton is incredible, because he's got such range, and you can go be Batman or be Beetlejuice. I think that's fucking incredible. Plus, it's just a great, funny movie that's just a dark comedy that has ludicrous scenes. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch that one. I'm very curious why this is the movie that Brad Pitt is like, I want that. Do you think that this is the first time that a sequel for Beetlejuice has been proposed?
I would assume not. It's kind of crazy that, well, it's not crazy. Keaton's a fucking great actor, but over the last few years, just looking at all the work he's getting now, just for these roles that he once had, and he's getting new roles with Marvel too, as Vulture. But I'm excited for this. To be honest, though, growing up, this movie scared the shit out of me. This was one of those movies I was too young for, and I watched it. It was like Edward Scissorhands. That's another movie that people, when they watch it, they're like, "Oh, that's a classic. It's great." And Beetlejuice, I understand, was supposed to be more funny than dark and scary, if anything. But it just scared the shit out of me. But
I get that, though.
I do look forward to this.
There were a lot of movies like that. At some point, we should draft movies that fucked you up as a kid, because boy, I can go on some there, and maybe that'll be the impetus for me to more closely monitor what my kids watch. But fuck, dude, I still like when I remember shit. I was probably 6, and I remember seeing like nuclear fallout for the first time in a movie, and I'm just like, what? Like, my tiny brain can't fucking comprehend that. So it's very easy to just tilt you over that edge and fall into a fucking cliff.
What I hope they do with Beetlejuice, though, is they just, because what I remember from the original one is, I mean, they weren't utilizing CGI or things like that really at the time. I think the movie came out late 80s, which
early
makes
90s,
sense.
I want to say, but go ahead.
So from like a practical effects standpoint, I remember, wasn't there like when they were all having dinner, and wasn't there just like they transported to a different dimension or something was happening? I just remember, like scenes like that. I hope they just don't highly depend on just using a bunch of CGI type effects to this movie. I hope they do incorporate some of those practical effects that we had with the original one.
I completely agree with that. That's a staple that needs to stay with it. So, you know, if you look back at the original too, like Catherine O'Hara was in that. That's a banger of a movie. But we'll move on. Shawn Levy, who directed the Adam Project, which we'll be talking about later, and Ryan Reynolds, who stars, they're coming together to give us Deadpool 3. So we kind of were in limbo about this for a little while. There were a lot of talks. But until you have somebody attached to actually come and make it, it's touch and go. But now, having seen them work together in both Free Guy and the Adam Project, Mark, what do you think about him taking on Deadpool 3?
I like both of those movies. I like Free Guy. I like Adam Project. It's just, those aren't R-rated movies. I don't know. That's the one thing that stands out to me. Can Shawn Levy be successful in making a Deadpool film that's, very
violent and edgy,
very violent, and a lot of cussing?
That was going to be my one question as well. Is can he do an adult movie? And these movies both had like adult style jokes, but obviously they were both PG-13, so it's not quite the same. I'll be interested to see what his brand of comedy is. And you've still got Ryan Reynolds there, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. He's your centerpiece in any Deadpool movie ever. So yeah, I think this will be a good pairing, and I'm just excited that we're going to get more of it.
Do you think we're going to get any X-Men tied into this?
I wonder how that's going to work now, considering that the rights are all, they're more under one umbrella. So I'm really not sure. I think that would be great. It would be the perfect opportunity to do it. I just watched Deadpool 2 again the other day, and they make that stupid joke to Colossus. About how like they're just in the other room, and they're like, we can't even get the fucking rights for this. It's great stuff.
Yeah. Now that's another thing I'm a little hesitant on. Shawn Levy has proven to make good movies of the last 2 that I've watched from him, but at the same time,
He's
like Deadpool has been one of my
well.
Yeah, Deadpool has been knocking it out of the park franchise wise for Marvel. 1 and 2 were both great movies in my opinion, and I hope 3 is the same.
Well, they make a shitload of money, so we'll keep getting them. All
Yeah.
right. I can't tell if Brick is here or coming. I'm going to go ahead and crop his seat in now.
Here's some money. Go see a Star Wars.
We'll just go ahead and get into our recommendations. He's going to have to hurry up if he wants to
I
catch
think he's under the desk. Oh, there he is.
Might be. Hi, Brick.
Whoa, I just time traveled here. Weird.
Whoa.
Wow, what year did you come from?
2023. It is bleak, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? We can look back at this in 1 year and be like, that was really prescient, but in reality, it's just obvious as fuck.
Right.
I'm surprised you showed up because I thought you would just time travel 4 days in the future and know you lost this draft and just not even bother with it.
No, this draft is mine to win.
Wow. Okay.
We know it.
Well, I
Who won
plan to
last
drop
week?
for our recommendations, so I will go ahead and get this started, and then, Brick, I'll kick it to you so you can get your vocal cords warmed up. Drive to
Sweet.
Survive came back. There are very few shows for which I will drop everything. I didn't get much done on Friday. My wife and kid are out of town, and I literally just took all of this to the face. It made me really angry about the Formula One season all over again, but that's okay because 1 week from now we get our first Grand Prix of the 2022 season in Bahrain. So very excited for that. Again, though, this docuseries, it's the same thing that it's always been, which is great. It's over dramatized, which I don't care about because I know what the real story is anyways, because I actually watch F1. But they make it interesting enough to give you drama, and they show maybe rifts between teammates that aren't there. There's a big one that they focus on a lot, and I was like, wow, that is not at all how that went. But I don't care. It's still really well produced. They put a ton of time and effort and money into this. It's an incredible docuseries. Can't recommend it enough. So Drive to Survive on Netflix. Season 4 dropped on Friday.
The best part about me watching this show is that I don't know what's going on currently with F1. So like when the person finishes first for the season, I have no insight into that. So it's nice being able to watch the show and get my F1 information that way. I should probably catch up and actually know what's going on currently with F1.
No, man,
But
if
that's
you
why
don't
I
have
really
the
enjoy
energy or the
watching it.
bandwidth for it, then fuck it.
Yeah.
Watch what you like.
No, it's an entertaining show. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
care if it's just dramatized.
I hate Max Verstappen so much. His stupid butthole
Is he
face.
still a main? Is he a focus point for this one too?
Well, yeah. I mean, he was in the title hunt. I won't give anything
Well,
else
I feel-
away if you haven't seen it, but
I feel like he was very high. Well, he should have been very highly focused on, but there was sometimes I'm like, okay, I know he's killing it. I'd rather focus on this guy that's like trying to get up in the ranks or is like third and pushing to be second, things like that.
I'm going to need you once you finish this season to tell me who your favorite driver is, because I'm pretty sure I know who it's going to be.
Okay. Does he do something shitty like punch or sandwich?
No, actually,
goes
he's just
into-
kind of hilarious.
Okay.
But all right, Brick, what do you recommend?
Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. That's the show. It just came out on HBO. One episode's out, hour long, but it's about like the professional and personal lives of the Lakers in the 1980s. Just one of the biggest dynasties. John C. Reilly's in it. Check it out. I'm curious. I haven't seen it yet, but I've been wanting to see it from commercials I've seen, but it's finally released.
I've heard really great things, especially about the acting in it. So this is an Adam McKay joint. He's directing it. This is actually based on a book called Showtime, about the Showtime Lakers that you talked about. I'm actually really excited to catch this as well. John C. Reilly. I do think it's hilarious at this point that he can't go to an interview without somebody asking him about Dr. Steve Brule. And then he goes and takes like the most serious roles. And he doesn't always take serious, but he's done some really serious work. And it's weird to see. But he won't
talk about
range.
range. It all. He won't talk about Dr. Steve Brule?
No, I mean, what do you say about it? Like,
no, you
somebody
don't say,
asks you what that character is, and you're just like,
Literally that. All-time
right,
character. I
what
love
do you
Dr.
got?
Steve Brule.
Two things. First thing, I'm going to just recommend making do on your lost bets because I'm halfway through West Side Story and I'm actually really enjoying it, Brick.
Hell yeah.
It's,
Good for you.
it's a pretty good movie. And what's his name? Ansel? What's his
Ansel Elgort
Ansel
from Baby
Yeah.
Driver?
Yes, he kills it. And I've seen West Side Story live in the theater.
Oh,
Like
he's
a
a
production.
theater connoisseur.
I am a connoisseur. So
You didn't know
seeing
that when
this,
you recommended it, did you, Break?
Yeah, no, he's seen the live productions.
Oh, you know
I
what?
was
That
fine
the
with
other
it.
thing
I just wanted you guys to
mention.
pay up on dues, and I gave Mark a layup. He wanted an easy one, and I figured I gave you guys a couple different options. A couple of them were pretty bad. I gave an Arnold movie. There weren't bad options for the punishment, and apparently not a punishment. Apparently you're just enjoying yourself.
Well, yeah, and
Yes.
congratulations to you, Brick, for successfully gaslighting him into watching a punishment movie.
Exactly. You win some and you win some.
All right. The other thing I wanted to mention is Our Flag Means Death. I started watching it. I haven't gotten too far into it, but Brick, I know you were really excited too. The HBO Max. I almost said Apple TV with Reese Darby and Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. I did watch the first episode. I liked it. Yeah, it's good. I'm interested to see how it goes.
God.
I think it's going to build into something that I really enjoy, but the first episode is not like, yeah, you need to see this. There's a lot of times you need to let things cultivate into, there's a lot of character building that I think that they can do. They have definitely some good characters to be exploring. And it's a great concept of like a bougie guy who's like trying to be a pirate and just like doing it all the right ways, like how America is today. And like, we want you to share your feelings and blah, blah, blah. Like, but in terms of 12th century pirates, it's great.
I watched like 15 minutes of the first episode because I was short on time and Drive to Survive came out. But it was like the first thing I saw was his crewmates were like, we don't do this because we want to, right?
Yeah,
this is our only choice.
Exactly. They have some good like period piece jokes. Like they do well with the comedic timing for the era too. So it's just like good, clean fun. I like it.
Whoops, sorry, I just played a drop over you. But yeah, clear enough. Draft time. Yay. So Mark, you finally got a win last week.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a victory lap on winning a Batman topic?
Well, I don't think anyone's surprised I won that.
I was.
We can move on.
Sucked.
I will. I'll pick the order, I guess. How about we'll do Smithers, Brick, myself.
Wow, you want me to go first?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
I know what one you're gonna pick.
Well, yeah. I don't think that's a flex when you come in and say like I know which pick you're gonna pick. Like on a lot of these, you know who won one overall for Batman villain should be. It's fucking Heath Ledger Joker.
True.
And that's So like coming in and saying that, that I'm going to. So for the listeners, we are doing time travel movies this week in honor of watching the Adam Project, which we discussed earlier. Basically, Ryan Reynolds comes back and fucks with his earlier self, which they grossly ignore time travel physics and everything. Not that it fucking matters. I secretly kind of think, and you guys let me know if you agree, removing actual reality from these movies makes them so much fucking better.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too. Yeah, just be like,
I agree with that.
Be over it. Yeah.
When you don't have to worry about like, oh, we're gonna piss off the science community.
The butterfly effect. Everything's chaos. No, just
you got fucking Neil
like,
deGrasse Tyson out here tweeting about you. But yeah. So, anyways, we're doing time travel movies, and I will go first, and I will select one of my favorite movies of all time, Back to the Future 2. It's in my eyes the best of the trilogy and can't be beat. It's another one of those 80s campy movies, but everyone in it delivers what I think is a perfect performance, and the portrayal of the future and Biff and the Trump character that he is was just brilliant, and I love the movie. Plus, it's a DeLorean. Who doesn't love a DeLorean?
It's well done. It's well done.
Should we be able to pick more than one movie from a franchise?
If you want to, I don't give a shit.
So you
I'm
just
just
get
thinking-
Back to the Future, is what he's saying. You don't get
I don't know if
Back to the
that's
Future.
fun,
For the
though.
record, I specifically mentioned Back to the Future 2.
I know,
you
I
did.
get that. I get that, but I just feel like us having Back to the Future is not that fun. I feel like you should just get. I could think of one other franchise that this can
Well,
take
then make
place
it
in,
fun.
and
Just do whatever. You can do
Do whatever the fuck you want.
any movies that you want. Doesn't matter. Who cares?
okay, sure. Go ahead, Brick.
the other easy layup, I guess, should be Back to the Future 1. But no, I'm gonna do Hot Tub Time Machine. I just fucking love that movie. It's just such a funny, well done movie, and Craig Robinson absolutely kills it. When
I fucking love Craig Robinson, dude.
When he
I
starts
love him
singing,
so
what was the song? The Black Eyed Peas song. Like keep running, running, and running,
Run,
running, and
running,
then like
running,
he's just like
running,
playing this song. And
running.
it just goes, it just kills. It's a great movie. I don't even care. Hot Tub Time Machine.
I think one of my favorite scenes from Craig Robinson is the blooper reel when he's on Eastbound and Down, and Will Ferrell is like, "Down to my plums," and he's just trying not to laugh when they're doing. Have you ever seen that?
I don't
Where
think
he's just
I
like,
have,
"In walks
actually.
my wife Donna on top of her," and it's like Craig Robinson is just trying not to break his character.
I need
He's
to
so-
go and watch. I've
so
seen like
funny.
episodes of Eastbound and Down. I need to watch the
It's
entire
incredible.
series.
It's feel it.
Entirety.
Down in my
Down in my-
plums.
Take her to a farmer's market.
All right, Mark, give me 2 picks.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Terminator.
The Terminator. Sorry.
And I'm also going to go with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Sick, dude.
Wow, all of these are like series of films. I mean, except
I
Hot Tub
know.
Time Machine, I guess.
Yeah.
Did they do a second one?
They
probably
did do a
shouldn't.
second one.
Oh, it
They
was
did do a
bad,
second
wasn't
one.
it?
It was
Dude, why don't we
fine.
just take the franchise? I feel like me taking Back to the Future is just kind
Why
of
don't we
like
just
you
wait
should
and
get
see
Back
if it's
to the
even going to be a
Future.
problem?
I should get Terminator. Okay.
Whatever.
go.
Who fucking cares? This
He just
is
wants
not as
Terminator
important as we
2.
seem to make it every week.
No, everyone's like, just
It
fucking do it.
really doesn't fucking matter. So
I'm going to go with Click, the Adam Sandler movie. You know,
okay.
I don't know why that movie just gets me every time he's like in the rain with his dad. I'm just like, oh, it's just such a well written and just it like hit me harder than I thought when I first saw it in theaters. I was like, damn, Adam Sandler.
That's a sneaky pick. You probably could have held on to that. I think you would have gotten some value.
You
out
could
of
have
it.
held on to your 2 picks right there, Brick. I didn't even
Good.
think of Hot Tub Time Machine. That is a good pick, though.
How did
but
you not
it
think
wasn't
of the
even on
one
my
with time machine in the name?
I don't
We're doing time travel movies, you fucking dingus.
I don't know. I just didn't think of it.
All right, I'm going to take Avengers Endgame.
Pandering.
I'm sorry, you don't like that movie?
It's okay. It's not better than Infinity War. Take that to my grave.
Wow, okay. I don't have that strong feelings about it, but sure. And I think I might. No, I got to get this one here because if I don't get it, I'm going to be really pissed. Another one of my. Wow, do I have a thing for time travel movies? Not time for that. What?
No pun intended either.
Go ahead.
It's Idiocracy.
I knew that was one of your secret picks.
It's not a secret. It's just
Okay,
it's
that's
a
not- okay, so
brilliant
we're
movie that I
we're
talk
still
about a lot.
waiting. We're still waiting on the. I got one that I'm gonna pick last. I'm waiting. It's my little ace up my sleeve. You
It's an
teased that,
incredible
like,
movie.
5 hours ago.
Luke Wilson, and it's hilarious. You got Dax Shepard in there. Who else? It's a Stephen Root, and it's just a fucking brilliant movie about how stupid we are, and probably will just continue to get dumber. At Brick, as our resident time travel expert, you can probably speak to how shitty next year is. But
Yep.
in the meantime, how would you give me another pick?
It's my turn, or do you went
Yes.
twice? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Austin Powers.
So this is
All three of them.
Yeah, I mean, you get 'em.
But he does time travel in all 3 of them.
Wait just a moment.
I guess
Just
he
kidding.
doesn't
No,
in the
you
first
can't
one.
have
He's
all
just
of them.
frozen.
Yeah. Whatever. You guys
Austin
can
Powers
get the
2
whole,
is definitely time travel.
Definitely.
Just
time
te-
travel.
just
I
tell me
pulled up
what-
the second one. Whatever. Yeah.
Tell me what
Austin
image you want me
Powers.
to use
Yeah,
from
that's
what
right.
movie.
I guess we're just going franchise now.
Yes.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Mark, you got 2 more.
All right. I'm gonna go Edge of Tomorrow. Tom Cruise. TC, my guy. Middletooth. Great movie. Great
It's
movie.
still a better. It's better that they renamed it Live, Die, Repeat because that's a way cooler name.
Mm-hmm.
Edge of Tomorrow sounds like a fucking high school Christian rock band.
They renamed it.
I mean, it was based on a book that was originally called that, and I guess when they released the DVDs, they called them Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just like maybe a title, like a attention
A
grabber. Either way.
tagline. Yeah. All right, Mark, one more.
Palm Springs.
I thought about it. It's not
Really?
even.
I thought that was your last pick. That's why I took it. I'm like, oh, Smithers for sure wants that movie.
I do love that
Great
movie,
pick.
but I don't love it
Fantastic pick.
because it's a time travel movie. You know, does that make sense? I don't know. Plus, I don't think
I think
that
some
many
of the
people
best
have really
scenes
seen
are
it.
because, I think some of the best scenes are because it's a time travel movie, like the opening scene where he's just knows exactly what's happening, and then you realize, oh crap, he's been doing this for the last whatever.
He time travels
X
back to the
amount of
beginning
years.
of the day.
That's fair. All right, Brick, your last pick, please.
I am torn between doing Star Trek 2000. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go X-Men Days of Future Past.
Thank you for taking that so that I didn't have to.
I know. Well, I was going to take Palm Springs, honestly, but
That's a
I just
banger of a movie.
I loved the way that they tied everything together with the X-Men, like Days of Future Past. I thought that was really interesting and well done.
I agree completely. With my final pick, I think this is more of a time and a place thing, but for me, The Butterfly Effect is a great movie with Ashton Kutcher.
So
I love
fucked
that
up.
movie.
It's such
That
a
movie
fucked up
fucked me
movie,
up.
and it's really sad and depressing, but
Oh.
it's really well done. So if you haven't caught that, I think that's going to be a sleeper for a lot of people that like recognize. I haven't thought about Butterfly Effect in 10 years. But
Yeah, Butterfly Effect was an absolute
That
banger.
movie, I haven't thought of it till now, and I'm pissed that I'm now.
When he
thinking
takes
of
his
it. That
hands and
movie-
shoves them on the fucking
stop.
needles. Oh my god.
Stop.
Okay. I will recap quickly. My picks were Back to the Future 2, or I guess just Back to the Future if we're just doing the franchise.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, Idiocracy, and Butterfly Effect. Brick got Hot Tub Time Machine, Click, Austin Powers, and X-Men Days of Future Past. These really tell a story about who's selecting them, doesn't?
That's the point.
And Mark got Terminator, Bill and Ted, Edge of Tomorrow, and Palm Springs. So when you see this on Twitter next week, make sure you vote for me and fuck everybody else. Currently,
You're cheating. You're cheating.
3 to 1 to 1. So that's where we stand on this current season. And with that, boys, we can move on to our review.
3-2. I have 2 wins.
Yeah,
I had the war hero movies
Uh,
and Batman.
Closer than you
Don't
thought.
get too
huh,
excited.
Smithers?
what's that last place?
Yeah, not great. I'm 1-0 against you guys. First season I was the winner. Mark's already
You
doing
mean
the punishment. Confirmed.
1-0?
I won. So I have a season championship under my
Boy,
belt.
let's not rehash this. Let's instead talk about the Adam Project starring Ryan Reynolds. This is new to Netflix as of Friday. Only thing missing is like the big leaf logo around it. But this is time travel, as discussed, directed by Shawn Levy, who I guess is friends with Ryan Reynolds now. So that's cool.
Must be nice.
He has to come back. Adam has to come back from the future, from 2050 to 2020. Well, trying to go to 2018, ends up in 2022, and basically just says fuck it to all of the known rules of time travel and physics, and just starts altering things because he just doesn't care anymore. This is heavily, I would say, a comedy. I think it's more comedy than action. But
It's like a feel good action story. I would put
It's somebody
it in that
who,
category.
if you love your dad, this movie will mean more to you. Also, I want to say that it's my dad's 75th birthday, and happy birthday, Dad. So,
Happy
Wow,
birthday,
what a
Dad.
guy.
I'm just going to kick
Happy
this over to
birthday, Dad.
you, Brick. Give me your thoughts.
The feel good moments. You're right. I thought there was a lot of those, like where it's like, I don't know, you're kind of like those intimate moments kind of creep up on you, and just like there's like 5 of them in the movie. I feel like they just keep going back and back and back. I wanted more action and more comedy rather than more of the emotional ties to it, and not much really pops out at me in this movie for some reason. I mean, it was a fine watch in my opinion. It was fun watching like this kid try and portray a young Ryan Reynolds. I like him trying to be mouthy, and I liked his character a lot, and I liked their dynamic. It was fine. I liked it. It was good, but it doesn't do. It
What
wasn't
a
like
ringing endorsement that is.
but it wasn't like that like must see amazingness. Ryan Reynolds God tier, you know.
That's interesting because I thought of all of us, you would have been the one who was like, "Oh, the quips were amazing." Oh, go 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 go. But was that a good impression?
Yeah, perfect.
I get what you mean though. I don't think it's going to be a super memorable movie. It's not obviously going to be like an award contender or anything like that. It probably won't make many favorite movies of 2022 lists. But it's serviceable. It was good. It was entertaining. They spent money on special effects. They found a kid who could quip on par with Ryan Reynolds for being a kid. That's pretty fucking impressive. It's got star power. Zoe Saldana's in there. Jennifer Garner. Mark Ruffalo. I thought
Jennifer Garner was good.
I fucking hate Jennifer Garner.
She was good playing that tough love mother that like she was like just taking the brunt of it at all, you know. I don't know. I think she played it well.
I'm not gonna get on my Jennifer Garner rant again. Just know that she is my one Hollywood hatred that I have no good reason for.
Okay. You just hate her to hate her?
It's her face, and I don't know why. And ever since I started seeing her in those Capital One commercials, it's gotten worse. Anyways, Mark, what'd you think about this movie?
Sounds like you just didn't get approved for their secure credit card, Smithers.
Yeah, that must be it.
I really respect the performance that Walker Scobell had as the younger Ryan Reynolds character. I think he captured the quirkiness of Ryan Reynolds pretty well. His like dark humor and things like that. I thought he did a great job. I thought the cast for the most part was one of the highlights of this movie, but I also thought it fell flat from the emotional connection between Ryan Reynolds and his younger self. That was great. Like being bullied and getting through that and having to deal with the loss of his father. I really enjoyed that. However, what I thought they fell flat on was his relationship with Zoe Saldana's character. She just shows up and we're just supposed to know that they had this deep relationship, and they didn't really like provide any flashbacks or any other side to it where we started really caring about that relationship. And she showed up and in my opinion was just gone too quickly. And I would have liked to see more of her and Ryan Reynolds. The last scene of the movie was great with her in it. But I think overall it's a good watch. I'm going to say stream it. It's teetering on the see it aspect of things, but I'm just going to go with stream it. I wasn't like blown away by it by any means, but it's a fun watch. It's lighthearted. It has a good story.
What'd you think of the overarching villain?
Kind of boring.
Played by Catherine Keener. I wanted to ask how you guys thought they did with the de-aging, because this is Netflix's, to my knowledge, first big de-aging.
I thought they did a good job. Dude, I thought they did a really good job. I
completely fucking agree, to the point that I had to look up and see if it was a different actress.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No, I had no problems with that at all. But there were parts at the end where the whole hangar compound where they're doing the time travel creation is blowing up. And you can just tell that whole thing, they're just shot, and it was shot in front of a green screen. Like, you know, right, where you could just, by the perspective, just, you're like, I know they're just in front of a big green screen right now. And that kind of, it took me out of it a little bit, but still, that's what to expect with a Netflix movie. It's not going to be completely on par with everything that we get from a big blockbuster in the theater, but they've been doing really well.
Yeah, I was going to say, overall, it seems like this is their big push. I mean, they had an ad in the Super Bowl for this movie. That's not something Netflix really does a lot of, and it seems like they were really, really hoping that this could be something big. For the record, I enjoyed it, and I completely agree with all of the flaws that both of you have mentioned. It just, for me, it was a movie about time travel that didn't hit you over the head with too much science bullshit, didn't try to worry about, like, you know, they even talk about it like parallel contact, and he's like, I don't fucking care. So I thought that was a good view on that. As far as Zoe Saldana, I feel like they did with her what needed to be done, and without spoiling it, I think you know what I mean. But like, had they not done that in the middle of the movie, it wouldn't have hit as hard. Mark Ruffalo, I mean, there were a couple times where I was like, oh God, if I wasn't a dad, I wouldn't be getting choked up at this. But there are some of those moments. There's also another one with Jennifer Garner. And it got me to thinking about what an absolute prick I would be to younger me if for some reason I ever ran across him.
Yeah.
Yep. All of us, obviously.
Yeah, you like to think like, yeah, you. Oh man, I'll just show you the ropes. No, man, you fucking idiot.
You just rip apart your younger self for sure.
Pretty much. Like, stop doing
I agree
this
with that.
this thing. Everybody thinks you're an idiot.
What I also really liked was the soundtrack. It reminded me of the songs I would listen to growing up with my dad. Like, they had songs from Pete Townsend. There was a Boston song in there. They had Good Times, Bad Times by Zeppelin in there. They had a pretty decent soundtrack for the era that they were focusing on.
It's a good call.
Seemed like early 80s, late 70s.
It kind of just seems like we're all saying good things about it. So I'm going to say see it in the end, because I think it was kind of a slower week, and frankly, I enjoyed this. So
I enjoyed it too, but you don't need to see it. You don't need to just sit down and be like, this is opening. They can't believe it just came out. I need to see it immediately. When you're laying around doing nothing, you're like, oh yeah, they had a project. I'll put that on. Zero expectations. It'll be good.
I want to say something that I think would be very controversial. Nobody cares, though. I think I would rather rewatch this than the Batman.
I'm not surprised by that. I also just think that was, you just didn't like it as much as other people, and for the fact that it was 3 hours long, that just completely. If you don't like it, and
then
you're
you don't
sitting
like
in
it
a
for
movie
more?
theater for 3 hours,
Yeah.
you're really not gonna like it.
Yeah,
not
really,
surprised by
really
that.
pushing it on that one. But yeah, this was an easy watch too. What was it, like hour 45?
Yeah,
Something like that.
no, it was an easy watch.
47 maybe.
I do want to mention one thing, spoiler wise, because I want to
146,
open this up to
classic.
you, because there was one thing that really bothered me, which maybe just didn't connect for me and maybe made sense for you guys.
Okay.
So the one thing is Ryan Reynolds mentions in a scene with his younger self, he says, once we go back to our times, our current timelines, we won't remember anything that happened. Like, everything we talk about, we're not going to remember meeting each other. Okay. At the very end, though, Ryan Reynolds says to his younger self, you better go hug your mom, whatever. And at the end, are we still just to assume that they don't remember each other, but for some reason, like, his younger self just felt the need to hug his mom? Or are they telling us that he actually remembered what experience he had with his older self? Does that make sense?
You are way overthinking this.
It's telling us that you're way too in the weeds on it.
Whoa. I got nothing to say to that, like, at all.
But they weren't supposed to remember anything that happened between each other once they went to their current time.
It's a movie about time travel.
But dude, that was that was a very defining moment in the movie, is him hugging his mom. But I'm like, your older self told you to hug your mom. So
maybe
is
it
that
was just some kind of like subconscious thing.
That's what I'm thinking happened.
It would have to be a subconscious thing, if that's the facts that you're laying out.
Dude, fuck this movie.
I was not expecting you to pull some fucking existential.
You know what? Skip it.
Skip it.
Movie.
One of the big problems I had with this is that by the end, everything's kind of just wrapped up in a neat little bow. I don't typically love movies like that, but I also recognize that it's not a movie that's supposed to make you think. It's not, some thought-provoking shit. It's just watch it and enjoy. Shut your brain off. Watch some shit blow up.
Me, on the other hand, I'm
jokes.
just like, God damn it.
I'm just, Mark is the meme of the girl trying to do math and like the equations are above his head. Yeah. Anything else we want to say about this before we wrap up? Anything on the reunion of 13 going on 30 with Mark Ruffalo and fucking Jennifer Garner?
Oh, yeah.
That's another movie we could have drafted. I don't
Time
love
travel.
It that much, but
yeah, it would have been who would have voted for that? Nobody.
I do like the draft theme of movies that really fucked you up when you were a kid. I do like that.
Next time we get a horror movie, maybe.
Yeah. I think we'll get some
that's
really
a good
funny
idea.
responses from people, hopefully in the chat and in the comments.
All Dogs Go to Heaven has a horrifying scene of doggy hell. And I was raised Catholic, where like the rhetoric is, if you were bad, you go to hell. So it's all basically just like scare tactics and shit and fire and brimstone. And I saw that as a kid, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm going to die and go to hell. Yeah.
Homeward Bound fucked me up just from an emotional standpoint, not from like a fear. Well, I had fear too.
Plenty of those. All right. Anything else on this? No.
Nope. That's
All
about
right.
it.
Fair enough. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, to episode 286. Is that what I said? God, that's a lot of episodes.
think.
Brick, what's next week? If you have it handy. As
Next
always,
week.
you can find us on social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. Mark, you've been putting out monthly comic recommendations. Anything else going on?
Yeah, I'm kind of just putting out videos on the fly. I did like a deeper breakdown of my love for the Batman, inspired by Smithers. So you can go check that out.
You know what? I will say that I'm really surprised that I didn't get people calling me a fucking moron for not liking that. Like, everybody was just like, it's fine if you don't like it, which is the polar opposite of whatever reaction every other movie before that has ever gotten. So I guess that's promising.
Yeah. I'm just more so happy for the future of what they're going to do in this universe, because I don't think they're going to tie it in with DCEU. We get a younger looking cast. People are just kind of freaking out. It's just like, all right, if it's really grounded and set in realism, how are we ever going to get a Mr. Freezer or Clayface? And that's a valid point.
Aren't.
It's like, well, yeah, and that kind of sucks. Like, I want to see a fucking Muckman just show up. I want to see Clayface.
Man Bat.
Dude, seriously.
Give me
I do
Man
want to see
Bat.
those. I do want to see those villains. So at times I'm kind of bothered by it, because I'm thinking, like, in the future, like, how are we ever going to get to this point? And it doesn't seem like we ever will, but whatever.
Flashpoint can fuck it all up. So,
Yeah,
Brick,
that's
next
true.
week?
Operation Fortune. I think it's a Guy Ritchie movie, and the other one is something that I already clicked out of it because it was not even good. Oh, never mind, we're good. It is a Windfall, which is Jason Segel, Jesse Plemons. I think that's Lily Collins is in there.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about it and see which one looks better. But
I'll be in New Orleans, so I'll be freaking partying my bowels off.
is that a Mardi Gras party or?
Bachelor party. My boy Rose. Shout out Rose.
Wow, you're gonna die. Can you, if you end up vomiting again, can you please have someone dub the Jackass music over it and send it to me?
Yeah, I'll do that. That'll be my. I'll do a collection of me at a bachelor party getting just puking, projectiling. Wow, 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 wow. Wow.
It's
nice.
when you vomit again, because New Orleans, especially Bourbon Street, is the vomit center of the world. Like, you walking down the street on Bourbon Street, it's sticky from people just vomiting everywhere.
It's got to be something like that, or like a soccer match at some point. I don't know what holds more people. How many people can you fit on Bourbon Street? Is it like 3 million? Because if that's the case, then
there's just so many aspects of Louisiana that just get molded into one thing that ultimately becomes you just getting sick everywhere. It's like the
partially
humidity,
digested beignet.
waking up trying to eat a breakfast, but only being able to eat like a fucking corn chowder gumbo that they serve. I hate Cajun dude. I hate Cajun food so much. I will argue with people all day. I think Cajun food is the worst thing ever. Like, I don't want to eat shrimp and grits in the morning. Like, that's not what I think is a nice meal to be eating when it's humid as fuck outside in Louisiana. Like, that just sounds okay. I digress. But anyways, there's just so many things that go into just barfing everywhere probably on this bachelor party.
Fair
A lot of
enough.
sugary drinks, like the Hurricanes, like huge.
Yes, that shit too. Oh.
So I see what you're saying.
New Orleans, Nashville. I'm trying to think of other cities around the world that are definitely like vomit capitals.
Whatever
Yeah,
does the craziest soccer venues in England is probably
Yeah,
gotta
something
be
at Wembley. Yeah, all right. That's probably enough bullshit for this episode. Thanks, boys, and thanks to everybody who tuned in. We will catch you next week when we'll watch something. I don't know. But until then.
Ciao.
Chubs out. Chubs out, motherfucker.